أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح لله ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم له ملك السماوات والأرض يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يعلم ما يلج في الأرض وما يخرج منها وما ينزل من السماء وما يعرج فيها وهو معكم أينما كنتم والله بما تعملون بصير له ملك السماوات والأرض وإلى الله ترجع الأمور يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل وهو عليم بذات الصدور. Surah Al-Hadid, the most comprehensive of the Musabbihat, the chain of Madani surahs that we're going to be reading. All of these surahs are called Musabbihat because about half of them begin with the tasbih of Allah. They begin with declaring the perfection of Allah and talking about Allah's other creations, not human beings, that do declare His perfection. And then all of a sudden He starts talking about believers and their problems. So there are three levels of comparisons I need you to understand. Allah already told us in Makkah Quran that the best of all creation is the human being. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We honored the children of Adam. So it's a special status among creation that we enjoy. But when it comes to declaring tasbih, declaring Allah's perfection, Allah Azza wa Jal in these surahs says everything else, all other creation declares His perfection. And then of course if we're the best of all creation, who should be doing the best tasbih? We should be. If we're the best of creation, then fulfilling that right of Allah should be done best by us. Not only is it not being done best by the human being, who are the best of human beings? Believers. The ones among the human beings, on account of the fact that you're a human being, you already owe more tasbih than all other creation. Because you're the best of all creation. But on top of being a human being, you are also a believer. Now the burden is even heavier on you. So what happens in these surahs is first Allah says the entire universe is doing what it's supposed to. What happened to you? You're a believer. And so there's this constant comparison between the universe and its role with Allah, and then us believers, our community, and our role with Allah. And that's how the argument for many of these surahs begins. Okay. Some surahs begin with يُسَبِّحُ لِلَّهِ. Others begin with Sabbaha lillah, meaning it has declared, everything has been declaring. The past tense here is understood as past tense continuous. Everything in the skies and the earth has been declaring the perfection of Allah. Let's talk a little bit about tasbih, this concept of tasbih, and how actually tasbih for human beings is different from tasbih of all other creation. You can tell the talent or the lack thereof of a painter by looking at the painting. You don't have to meet the painter. You can just look at the painting and say, this guy's got talent, and that guy is got problems. Okay? You can just tell. By what Allah created, just the sky in and of itself, just the mountains, the earth, this creation. The creation itself is enough of a praise of Allah. In and of itself it declares Allah's perfection. Just observing it makes you think, if this is so beautiful, how is the one who made it? How incredible is the one who made it, in that sense. In another sense, so it's bil wujud, by existence there's tasbih happening. By the grandeur of Allah's creation, the diversity of Allah's creation. On the other hand, every creation, inanimate objects, animals, insects, amoeba, cells, atoms, subatomic particles, you name it, all of them have been given a language by which they can communicate the perfection of Allah. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُم. There is nothing in existence whatsoever that except that it continues to declare the perfection of Allah by doing His hamd. However, y'all can't understand their tasbih. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُم. And it's beautiful that in that ayah Allah didn't say tasbihaha, He said tasbihahum. He made them animate. Because hum is for the creatures that have intellect. Shay should be ashiyaha, tasbihaha. Which is tasbihahum. Because in that ayah they're doing something that dhawil uqul should be doing. They're doing the hamd. So He says, وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُم. Now, that is where the surah begins. Everything has been declaring the perfection of Allah in the skies and in the earth. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And He is the ultimate authority, the all-wise. 6 ayat of the surah in the beginning are as though Muslims are being reintroduced to who God is. Just praise of Allah and the grandeur of Allah, the greatness of Allah, before we get into the subject matter of the weakness of Iman. Why? Because perhaps the weakness of your Iman and mine is directly related to the fact that we're not appreciating the greatness of Allah enough. Maybe before we address that problem, we should go straight into the solution. And the solution, the first solution offered in these surahs for the weakness of Iman is declaring Allah's perfection and observing the rest of the universe around us. That's the first solution, going back to the basics. لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To Him alone belongs the dominion, the kingdom of the skies and the earth. يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ. He gives life and He gives death. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. And He is in complete control over all things. وَهُوَ الْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ. Imam Razi, when he got to this ayah, he was basically, you could tell from his writing, he was shivering. It's a very heavy ayah. Philosophers, mutakallimun, scholars of aqidah have grappled with the depths of this ayah for centuries. This ayah also gave rise to a lot of confusions, like wahdatul wujud. Came as a result of some philosophies that were derived from the interpretation of this particular ayah. We're not going to go into any of that, because I told you, when you discuss philosophy, you suck the soul out of Islam. That's what you do, is just let it just be. If those of you that are interested and inclined, you can study those tafasir on your own, inshallah ta'ala, and reach your conclusions. What I will highlight though, is usually when Allah mentions His names, He does not put a wa in between them. He doesn't say to us, Huwa Rahim wal Ghafur. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say, Huwa Rahman wal Rahim. He doesn't say that. But what does He say here? Huwa al-awwalu wal akhiru wal zahiru wal batinu. This is unique. This is unique. And this is unique because all of these names are opposites. They're actually antonyms. He is the first and the last. He is before all was, and He will be after all is gone. He's the first and the last. وَالظَّاهِرُ. And He is the obvious one. There's no reality more obvious than Allah Himself. That is the ultimate reality. He is the ultimate reality. وَالْبَاطِنُ. And there is no greater entity hidden than Allah Himself. He's the most obvious and the most hidden at the same time. The one who observes Allah's creation and reflects with the mind that Allah has given them, it will become, this will be the most obvious reality that's ever been there for them. But at the same time, Allah is in the unseen from us. So He's both of those things at the same time. وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And He is knowledgeable over all things. Notice knowledge will come up a lot. هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ فِي سِتَّةِ أَيَّامٍ. He's the one who created the skies and the earth in 6 days. ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ. Then He took His place, or istawa, rose upon al-arsh. We discussed this before. يَعْلَمُ مَا يَلِجُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. He knows what enters into the earth. وَمَا يَخْرُجُ مِنْهَا. And what comes out of it. What enters into the earth is the plant. What enters into the earth is the corpse, the grave. The coffin enters into the earth. The rain enters into the earth. The seed enters into the earth. وَمَا يَخْرُجُ مِنْهَا. And whatever will come out of the earth. Whatever comes out of the earth on Judgment Day will be us. Before then it's plants. Before then is its treasures, its resources. وَمَا يَنْزِلُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. And He knows what comes down from the sky. وَمَا يَعْرُجُ فِيهَا. And what rises up into the sky. What rises up into the sky isn't just vapors. It's not just vapors. It's also the deeds of human beings on a daily basis. It's also our souls. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. And He is with you wherever you may be. This ma'iyah of Allah, when we were influenced by Greek philosophy, we started discussing, is Allah physically here with us? How is He here with us if He says He's with us here? Where is Allah exactly? When He says He's on the arsh, now He says He's with us. How do we reconcile these things? We're missing the entire point. The point of Allah Azza wa Jal saying He's with us, huwa ma'akum, is to know that you're never alone. Is to know that Allah's company is with you. It's to know that you and I are constantly in Allah's presence. First, Allah describes that He's this incredible king that rose on His throne, that created everything, that everything else is in submission to. Now, I don't want you to think about Allah for a second. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. I just want to get a psychological state across to you. You're being told about this important entity that everybody has respect for, that has this grand kingdom, right? This really important figure. And then all of a sudden you're told, He's right there next to you. What happens to you? Aren't you like shaken up, like, wait, He's here? He's with me? Does your behavior experience a change if you realize someone of that value, that importance, that grandeur, that scale, that magnitude is there? And by the way, if that important a person, at the human level, if that important a person was with you personally, ready to listen to you, would you not make whatever requests you possibly could? Wouldn't you? Allah Azza wa Jal offers His ma'iyyah, His closeness. And I personally take from it, in the surahs that are addressing the weakness of iman, perhaps the realization that Allah is accompanying us in our life. Allah's ma'iyyah, Allah's closeness, His withness is there all the time. When that recognition starts getting diluted, our iman starts getting diluted. Our faith, our conviction, our struggle, the zeal to struggle starts getting diluted. This surah will also be a very good comprehensive view of the reality of spirituality. The essence of spirituality. This surah, to me at least, addresses that problem in the most comprehensive way. And what real spirituality is, and what fake spirituality is. It actually addresses both of those. It addresses them in a very powerful way. But now in the beginning, this iman in Allah, which is at the heart of our faith. Wallahu bima ta'maluna basir. And Allah, in regards to everything that you're doing, is in full view. Lahu mulku samawati wal ard. To Him alone belongs the kingdom of the skies and the earth. Has this already been mentioned, that He owns the kingdom of the skies and the earth? It has been. Now it's being mentioned again. First it was being mentioned without mention of you. It was mentioned without mention of you. Then it was mentioned He's with you. And He's watching everything you're doing. Oh, and let me remind you again, He's the king of the skies and the earth. The king is watching you. He's got His attention on you. وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ. And to Allah all matters, all decisions are going to be taken back. Al-Amr, interestingly, combines two things. It combines the decision and it combines the action. Somebody decides to do something and they don't get to do it. There's a person that decides to go to Hajj, but Allah takes the life before he gets to go to Hajj. That decision is taken back to Allah. That's an amr too. That's an amr also. Amr is not just actions. That's why the mercy of Allah in this ayah is إِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ, not just af'al or al-a'mal. Al-umur. Al-amr fihi al-niyya kadhalik. Al-qarar kadhalik. Al-amal kadhalik. All of it is included in it. The same way, all this, somebody intends to do good. They did good, but their intention wasn't good. Their intention wasn't good. There are so many things you can do for Allah for shallow reasons. Popularity, appreciation, fame, career. It could look like you're providing a religious service, but you're actually in it for something much, much more pathetic. That decision you made internally that nobody knows about. Nobody can question your intentions. Only Allah knows your intentions. Nobody can tell what your real motives are, but Allah does. And those umur are taken back to Him, all of them. And so when He says, وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ, there's a balagha in the ayah too. لَمْ يَقُلْ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَفْعَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ قال بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. العمل هناك فرق بين العمل والفعل. الفعل, it's involuntary. Breathing is a fi'l. Walking, you're one leg, then the other leg, then the other leg, that's a fi'l. You don't have to actually literally consciously say, time for the left leg. You don't do that. If you did, that would be a amal. That would be a amal. Speaking is a amal. For some people who don't think about what they're saying, speaking is a fi'l. Who just run their mouth, then some people, speaking is a fi'l for them. Conscious actions are amal, meaning actions based on intent. Breathing, or opening your eyes and seeing. Seeing is not a amal, but looking is a amal. You understand? Hearing is not a amal, but listening is a amal. I can't turn my ears off. If somebody's blasting music or a dog is barking, I can't turn my ears off and say, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to hear that. You'll hear everything. But what you pay attention to and listen to, now that's a amal. You understand? So Allah says, Allah is in full view of your amal. Al-amal yashmil fihi al-niyya wal-fi'l. The intent and the act together. He's in full view of what you intended and what you did. And this is not just about having evil intentions, this is also about having weak intentions. Weak intentions are an equally big problem for Muslims. Man, I want to memorize Quran. What have you done for it? I intend to memorize Quran. When is that niyyah going to translate into some kind of fi'l? Some action, dude. Get to work. Get to work. One of my favorite places in Quran when it comes to dua. ربنا ومنهم من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذابنا طلبنا من الله عز وجل الحسنة في الدنيا وفي الآخرة وبعد ذلك أولئك لهم نصيب مما دعوا مما طلبوا مما سألوا لا مما كسبوا. Allah, we ask Allah, Allah give us good in dunya, give us good in akhirah. Next ayah says, those are the people that are going to get a portion from what they actually earned. Now that they made dua, what that means is, now that you made dua to Allah, Ya Allah give me goodness in this world, goodness in the akhirah, then Allah opened the doors for you to earn that goodness. And if you earn it, then you'll get it. The dua will not get you there, the dua will open the doors for you. Now you have to act. Now you have to do what you're supposed to do. So, in this, إِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ. Now he says, يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ. He enters, he inserts the night into the day, and the day into the night. Now when you just realize all deeds are being taken back to Him, and then He says, He's the one making basically the clock of the earth is the night and day. That's our clock, you know. He's making the hours pass. He's making the days go one after the other. The point of it is to make you conscious, man, days are going by, have I changed?